In 2024, a new way of playing Piggy was created. These are called mods, where you can change what happens in a round in a private server. For example, you can force everyone in the server to play on hard mode, or have a billion spider traps chase after you, or even do both at the same time. At its release, there were 3 starting mods, which were the point race, where you compete against other survivors and you see who can use the most items without dying, dizzy camera, which rotates your camera, and inverted controls, which swaps around your moving controls. Fast forward to over a year later and we've only received 4 more, and not all of them are liked. There could be a lot of opportunities for decent mods to be a thing. So today, I'm going to be sharing with you a list of 10 mod ideas that I think players could enjoy playing. Enjoy the video. In the hidden ending for Book 2, when you face against Distorted Tio, you may see these purple traps that were already placed. So it got me thinking, what if we had the option to have these traps already placed in other maps throughout Book 1 and Book 2? I think this could be a good idea because it was only until Book 2 Chapter 5 that the bots started placing traps on their own. So before that, if you're playing alone, the only thing you have to pay attention to is Piggy that always knows where you are, so it makes rounds very predictable. So traps in these kind of maps especially could add a bit of a challenge to those players who want it. I don't really mind which type of traps the developers decide to use if they do go along with this idea, just as long as it's not more spiders, because it'll probably make a lot of devices crash. This next mod is weird, but I'm saying it anyway. How about a mod that prevents you from stopping? And when I say stopping, I don't mean leaving the game. I'm talking about stopping your Roblox character moving around. How this mod will work is you move around as normal, but when you take your hands off the keys on your keyboard or the thumbstick on your mobile device or whatever, you continue moving the direction you were last moving, and you will keep moving that direction until you attempt to move again. Yes, this will make grabbing items more difficult for some players, but looking on the bright side, at least this will prevent survivors from emoting in front of the exit door trolling Piggy before they escape, like this.
Bye!
Is there ever a moment where you're trapped at a dead end or corner with Piggy and you can't escape because you have to wait so long for your energy to go up to use an ability to defend yourself? Well, this next mod makes the survivor's energy go up twice as fast and Piggy's energy go up 4 times as fast. The only reason why Piggy's energy speed increases by 4 times instead of 2 like the survivors is because there usually is a lot more survivors than Piggy, so this helps it make it a lot more balanced. Rounds with this mod on could cause a lot more chaos than usual because abilities will be used a lot more often. For example, usually it takes about 45 seconds for you to get enough energy to sprint, but with this mod on, that will lower that time to just 22.5 seconds. Having this could make rounds even more fun, maybe even with 3 times, or 4 times, or 10 times, or 100 times speed. Imagine speedrunners spamming the sprint button when playing rounds. At the beginning of the distraction chapter, the screen is fully saturated like every other map, but as time goes on, colours start to fade all the way until the 10-minute timer is up until there is nothing but black, white and grey. A lot of players like this mechanic because it was more interesting both visually and gameplay wise. So if this was added as a mod, then players will be able to enjoy this feature on whichever map they decide to play. And if you think about it, when using brighter skins like Gold Piggy, Cracksacord and Angel, they'll be harder to see because they'll become more desaturated like the map, allowing them to blend in more. I was going to have a similar idea on this list where the sound fades out throughout the round, but I realised that would be a bad idea because if players try to turn up their volume so they can hear something around when there is like 2 minutes left of the round, imagine them hearing the main game theme when the round ends. For survivors, there is an ability that costs 7 energy that will allow you to go invisible. When you stand still with this ability on, you're completely invisible, but when you're moving around, you become about half visible to all players. And that half visibility is this next mod idea. It wouldn't change a lot, but it will force Piggy to keep a closer eye on the players because it will make it easier to lose them. I would say this mod should also occur to Piggy, but then it will make Ghosty overpowered, unless Ghosty is the only skin that this mod isn't affected by. And before you ask, when the invisibility ability is used with this mod on, whether moving or not, survivors will be completely invisible until the time for the ability runs out. I guess this would spark some confusion for anyone that decides to become a ghost after they die or escape in the round, but hey ho, it is what it is. In build mode, there is an option to place down player NPCs that can stroll around like this. So that's exactly what this next idea is. Have about 50 or 100 player NPCs stroll throughout the map. This mod has possibilities of being great because they could get in your way of the survivor when you're Piggy or be a good way to hide as the survivor. The only reason I would hold back on having too many NPCs is because of the lag. Some players already have lag, so having these extra NPCs added into the map could make their experience worse. But let's not forget, this is a mod we're talking about, so this is optional and only in private servers. Actually, now I think of it, what if when you switch the mod on, there is a bar where you can adjust the amount of NPCs you want in the map? Ahoy! Mini-tune, this idea is going to blow your socks off. How about a mod where there are player NPCs strolling around the maps? Hello? This next mod idea relates nothing to the change in visuals, it changes the audio. Basically, when this mod is turned on, every single event's sound effects, including the door unlock sound, the wrench sound, the gun shooting sound, and so on, will be mixed with each other. I mentioned a similar idea to this in this video, but the difference between that video and this is in that video, the sound still matches the event that happens and are all new sounds. Even if you won't find rounds of this mod on hilarious, it would still make it confusing because Piggy wouldn't know what item is just being used, so they simply would have no idea what stage of the map the survivors are at. Oh, wait a minute, that's the screwdriver sound. I know where they are. Oh, come on. This is the egg trap. When you step on it, an egg splat covers your screen for a few seconds, kind of like the blooper ink from Mario Kart. Well, what if there was a mod that had a splat like that on your screen the entire round? This would certainly make grabbing items harder, but for some players, they may enjoy that challenge. And only the most hardcore players would know the exact position an item would be on a bench, table, or shelf. You know how in the point race mod where you can see everyone's score above their head? Well, what if there was a mod that shows how much energy they have as well? I feel like this mod can make some rounds interesting because then Piggy could re-strategize what they do once they see the player's amount of energy. Out of all the ideas I've talked about so far, for whatever reason, I feel like the developers will be most likely to add this mod. I could be wrong. Fellow developers, correct me in the comments if you're watching. I can imagine that in some scenarios, Piggy could change which player they chase because some players might not have enough energy to defend themselves.
Come on then, you want to go? You want some argy-bargy?
If this final mod I'm going to talk about becomes a reality, it's going to make a lot of players, especially speedrunners, very happy. So what could possibly be in the mod, you may ask? Well, ever since 2020, glitches in Piggy have been found, used, then patched. The biggest patch updates were earlier this year and last year, which completely invalidated hundreds of speedruns. The main reason for these patches was because it prevents players from exploiting these, ruining the experience for other players. So I did some thinking and I think I found a solution. If we had an option to bring back these glitches through mods, they could be optional and only played in private servers, so everyone is happy. Now don't get me wrong, glitches can be annoying sometimes, but when you're not ruining someone else's experience, they could be a lot of fun to do. Out of every idea I've talked about in this video, this is the mod I would hope most that became a reality, so if there are any Piggy developers watching, please. And with that, we'll wrap up the video there. Thank you for watching and I hope you have a good day or night.